Hello people, it's me Jess here with another reading. Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I thought we could do a lovely, juicy, wondrous reading on what would a reader say about you. But before we do that, I have an awkward advertisement because I just redid my merch. So if you're interested, you can find it on the shelf below. And I'm really proud of this batch, I guess you would say. I'm really proud of it because we've been getting so much Persephone energy and I've just been talking about it and thinking about it. And really, when it comes down to it, I feel like nobody does chaos better than spring, because spring takes all that chaotic energy and it funnels it towards growth and blooms and blossoms. It makes it something like really amazing. And so I was just inspired by that. I know that I made like a hoodie and a mug and stuff, but I had this whole inspiration behind it. So I actually ordered a hoodie and a mug for myself because I'm going to tell everyone that I drink chaos for breakfast. And I'm also going to get a sticker because I want to put it on my planner because I think that's hilarious and ironic. And yeah, so awkward advertisement over, but yeah, if you wanted to check that out, I would also love to know your thoughts on it below. I'm super proud. It's okay if you don't like it. I'm super proud of it. But anyways, okay. So I have 3 piles here: pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. I will put up a picture if you want to take a look at that. Otherwise, I'll see you at your reading. Okay, pile number 1, yay, I love this energy. I'm so glad we found each other. Okay, so anyways, what would a reader say about you? You are a very interesting person. Like, you're very unique, you're very different, and I feel like you're actually really well developed in yourself, but it might be under the surface because I'm getting strong high priestess energy. But like, I'm getting someone who's just, you've done a lot of self-work on yourself. You guys are definitely very spiritual, but you also have this really smart, really logical side. Some of you, you're helpers, you're nurturers, some of you in a very spiritual way. You could work with a lot of you could be readers. You could work in spirituality. You could work with your hands. You could work as a helper. But there is so much more to you than what meets the eye. And I feel like actually this part of you can really get corrupted in people's minds. And I feel like also you have a lot of hidden enemies because maybe these people are women. Some of you guys, this could have even been a mother that was like very competitive with you, and really was trying to like, I'm just hearing mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. So it's just, you have such a honestly, truly pure and fair energy to you. You're very spiritual, but you're very multi-talented. But some of you guys, it's like you keep this to yourself and you don't really let on how shrewd, intelligent, discerning that you actually are. Like this very intense, like well-developed nature that you have, it's below the surface. And I feel like you've kind of learned to do this, but I do feel like you have a lot of hidden enemies that maybe kind of try to pervert this or use this against you, either through gossip. But I also think a lot of people try to copy you and they try to copy your energy, especially women, especially very observant women, maybe very materialistic people just in general, where it's almost like, this is going to sound weird, but I feel like they try to copy your soul, like your soul signature, where they like, some of these people could have psychic gifts and abilities that they are misusing, where they see something inside of you, because I feel like, again, you're the high priestess, like you're very well pulled back, but somebody who is very observant would be able to tell, like just in your mannerisms, that you're kind of the real deal. In one way or another, and you could have issues with people who are really trying to copy you. So I would tell this person, I think there could be one person that is really kind of out to get you that's around this person. They might intentionally spread rumors, lies, gossip, because I think that, Pisces is a dual sign. And I think that you might have a dual nature to you. And I am not a person who thinks that having a dual nature is wrong, or it means that one of them is a lie, or it means that one of them is very manipulative. It does not have to mean that. And especially when you're looking at an energy as high vibrational as this, it could mean means someone who's just very skilled, very talented, who's multifaceted, who's just interesting, who's well balanced. And that is something that I'm really seeing in you, but maybe this person weaponizes that because Pisces also rules over haze. So there could be things about you that are hazy and unclear in regards to other people. I feel like you kind of keep your distance, at least when you're around this person. You're not a shy person. Like, I just feel like normally you're really not. Like, you're actually really confident. You might have a lot of fire in your chart. You're really comfortable actually, like being in front of people. But I think that there's maybe a relationship with a mother or just people who have been really deceptive, really manipulative, really materially driven, that have tried to steal things from you or have tried to pervert your energy. And just over time, you've really leaned into your intuition about that. And so until you feel safe, I feel like you kind of tuck your energy in around you. And I feel like you've tucked your energy in around this person. So I would want to let them know that this is kind of what's going on here. That the way, just hearing that, the objects in mirror are closer than they appear. You know, there's something about your energy that, that is intentionally distorted. I feel like it's a bit of a protection mechanism, and I feel like it's almost that way here, like from spirit, in order to kind of keep you, like safeguarded. So I feel like a big part of this is like, this person needs to really understand your energy in order to understand this, but they need to get to know you in order to do that. Anyways, okay, so I actually feel like you are a well-balanced person within yourself. Like, you have this very spiritual side, but you don't demonize the material world at all. I feel like you actually do have a lot of goals, dreams, successes. Some of you guys, like, you're even living far away from home, or you dream about it, like maybe moving somewhere in order to learn a skill or put your skill to use or learn more things. But I feel like you guys, you are very much well balanced. And I feel like you guys have a strong spiritual mission, and it has to do with taking these really big, kind of amorphous, difficult to understand spiritual concepts and like distilling them down into like bite-sized pieces for, I feel like women, honestly, for mostly women, but just very intelligent people, for helper people, and for people who can take these skills and use them in order for like some kind of spiritual healing. But it takes like a lot of finesse to be able to do that. I don't know if you've ever felt like, if you've ever tried to like just, of course you have, because this is a big part of your mission, but like sometimes it's really difficult just to try to describe what's going on spiritually, or taking something that is really metaphorical and trying to explain it. Like, you can have a really difficult time with that. So I feel like a lot of you guys, maybe you're drawn to cameras or movies. You're drawn to like poetry, to take acting classes, something about the cinema or the screen, something that's very artistic. Like, you could just have a strong interest in those things because you're learning. That's what your brain is like. Your brain somehow learning how to distill these kinds of things down. Some of you are into yoga, you're into chanting, you're into incantations. I feel like you're really good with your hands here in some way. I feel like, I don't know why this is coming through, except for your spiritual mission seems to take priority over everything in your life. You also want a spiritual partner. And maybe this person, I feel like this person could be very attractive and maybe have a lot of women around them. If it's showing women here in the spread like so strongly, there's so many people here, but it doesn't have to be. Maybe it is just like feminine energies, people who want to receive, like to be in that feminine energy around this person. They could want to receive like recognition or money or something, but you kind of stick to the periphery around this person because you are not, you just want, you're not trying to get anything out of this person. I think this person inspires you, and there is a little bit of like yin and yang energy. Like, I think this person has a skill set that maybe is very intelligent. Maybe their hands are very intelligent. I don't know. I say that phrase way too much, but I don't know. Hands seem to have some kind of intelligence here. But yeah, I feel like this person has some kind of skill that they use to maybe help people, or it is very creative, artistic, also articulate. You know what I've noticed is like whenever I say something where I'm like, this person's really smart, or they're really articulate, all of a sudden I can't speak. I can't form a sentence. So great. Yeah, like I feel like you think this person's very talented, but the skill sets that you have are very complementary. It seems almost like two sides of the same coin. And so I feel like what I would explain to this person about you and your energy is that you really are spiritual. This is actually, I can't stress this enough, you guys. Like, I really do love your energy, and I feel that people can't really see this or acknowledge it. But especially in the world that we live in, I think it's rare to find someone like you who legitimately, you see the world through a spiritual filter. That's the place you come from. And then everything trickles down from the spiritual world into the material world. It's almost the inverse of Maslow's pyramid, you know? And you know Kundalini yoga, sorry. That was just like automatic. Kundalini energy. You've got the snake, the red snake that comes in from the bottom, and you've got the white dove that comes from the top, and both are Kundalini energies. Like, you're more the white dove that's coming down from the top. So, I don't know, maybe like your physical surroundings have never really held back your spiritual development. It just seems like it's come the opposite way. So it's taken a lot longer, I feel like, for maybe material like abundance or blessings to come in for you. It's taken a lot longer, and which again obscures your energy. But when it finally comes in, it's coming in from spirit. You know, it's not coming in from like the sweat of your brow. Not that you don't work hard, but it's just I feel like you get what I'm trying to say. It's coming from the other way, in order to really take root. Whereas like these other people, they're trying to like just superficially. I'm getting that quote from Talladega Nights where Will Ferrell, like when he comes home after like getting fired from the team and everything, and his wife Carly and his best friend Dale, I think, he's like, they're like starting a family together, and he's like, how come you just crudely pasted your face over mine? You know, like that's kind of the energy that I feel like some people try to bring is like they want people to see them in the same light that people see you in, but they don't want to have to do like, and they're willing to work for it, but they're not willing to actually like cultivate it to change like where their allegiance lies, if that makes sense, you know, from materialism, from shooting for materialism and recognition and things like that, into having some kind of like, I feel like I'm doing a bad job of explaining this now. I jinxed myself whenever I said that I can't speak whenever I think people are intelligent. So I feel like there's a little bit of that going on. So in regards to this person's energy, I think you notice that there are a lot of people around. You notice that this person does have very materialistically driven, honestly, like talented, women around, but like I feel like the type of people around this person are the type of people that you try to protect your energy from. So you're kind of on the periphery, and it's not like, if you're not approaching this person, then it's not because necessarily of them, it's because you don't feel safe in their environment. That's it. And I think their environment, like what's making you feel unsafe is the people that are around them, you know? Because you don't really have like the same values. And some of you guys, like, you feel made to compete for this person's attention, and it could not even be like an overt thing, but I don't know, I'm just noticing like the Queen of Wands, there could be someone here. And also you don't feel this person, like this person kind of misses the magic of you, and I would tell them that. Maybe this person is like overly logical, but they're interested. You guys are literally like I said, you know, the white dove that comes down from the crown, and then the snake that comes up from the root. Like that literally is kind of how your energy is, where you're coming from one place and you're very well developed in that place, and you're headed into like more worldly things. This person is very well developed in the material world, perhaps, and they have some kind of skill that brings them a lot of wealth, abundance, and attention. And this person is going towards spirituality. Like they are very much interested in the things that you're doing, but they don't really have the right lens or the right filter to see you through. And I feel like a lot of people don't, at least not right off the bat, because you're kind of interesting. You're kind of different. You truly are like a humanitarian, and you know, Pisces is a sign where things really do dissipate. They transition from the material world into the spiritual world. So it's like kind of above, it kind of hovers above like the material existence. And I feel like your energy is kind of like that. But at the same time, you do a lot of deep diving. The fact that Hecate, and I think people tell me I say this wrong all the time, but the fact that Hecate is here, you guys, she's a very fickle goddess. She does not show out for just anybody. Like she'll flat out refuse to work with you, Hecate. It's kind of why I love her. She, people call her an underworld goddess, and sure she is. And while I was shuffling your cards, while I was shuffling your cards, I kept seeing Hades from the underworld, and So you have two underworld goddesses here, but Hecate is a light bringer goddess. She brings the light to the darkest places. If you don't understand that about Hecate, you probably are not about this pile, you know? And she's a liberator, and she does illuminate things. She's very brave. She accompanied Persephone on her journey into the underworld. She lit her way. She only likes to work with people. She also rules over magic, by the way, but she only likes to work with people who do their deep diving because they're less likely to distort on the world. So there's something about you where it's almost like a prism around your energy, because you almost require someone who has done their work to be able to see you. Again, it feels like a protection mechanism here of some kind. Yeah. So yeah, you just see this person as being very logical. See how the light is just passing right through this like spirally situation? Yeah. And I think that's like the magic of you. This person, they are too balanced, and maybe you feel that they're even kind of a little bit snooty, because I think this person has achieved something, or they have like a really desirable skill set or something like that. But yeah, you just feel like this person doesn't really notice you. They don't appreciate you. And to be fair, a lot of it is because it's buried. But you know, I'm really fond, I think it was a Mike Tyson quote where it's like everything precious in the world is buried. Or it's protected in some way, like it has a hard outer shell, or it's put at the very bottom of the ocean, or, you know, whatever it is. So that really is your energy. You've also been through quite a hard time, and I really do think that it has to do with a mother or like a early childhood caregiver. Maybe your mother was like gone, had to work a lot, and you had somebody who was like around, or multiple people, you know, who were around kind of taking care of your daily needs, and it was really difficult for you. So, and this mother maybe is very smart, very intelligent, but you felt like maybe was always like in competition with you, or when you really think back, you realize they were kind of subtly sabotaging you all along the way. And that's been really hard for you to deal with. And it also is why it's hard for you to trust, and maybe it's hard for you to trust women in general. But you have some enemies here with Virgo. I want to say you have enemies, and they're enemies because they don't like the purity of your nature. They want to compete with you in some way. Yeah, or they want to copy, or they want to mimic something that's going on here. But it comes from a very materialistic place, like they want to make some kind of money. Whereas it's not that you don't want to be successful, but this is like your actual soul. This is your actual soul signature that you're trying to develop. Yeah, so I feel like you're trying to understand this connection with this person, because you do feel like a strong sense, a strong draw. Maybe you feel like you're interacting with this person, and through your connection with this person, you are learning and growing. But I feel like you're trying, like you use your intuition, but you also use your logical mind about it. And like the push-pull between the two of them does kind of give you a headache. It's like confusing. So I feel like there could be distance between you and this person. You also could interact through some kind of service, some kind of charity. I just heard Doctors Without Borders. So some of you guys, maybe you travel around and you interact with each other, or you travel and one of you receives some kind of service from the other, or something like that. But I feel like there is distance here. And I would say that I think you would like to hear from this person. If for no other reason, then you would like some clarity, because I see you surrendering this to spirit. You're not trying to make anything happen here. It's just antithetical to your nature. I think you feel that if something's supposed to happen, then it will happen. So you've got your hands up here. I call the Queen of Cups the intelligent priest. And like, I think that's really truly your energy, where you're very smart and you are very analytical. You pick up on patterns, and even spiritual patterns, energetic patterns. Some of you guys are really good at analyzing your dreams, like really good. And or you get some kind of, I just got goosebumps. Yeah, you get some kind of messaging through your dreams, like it's insane. Or you should try to do that. Like if you keep a dream journal, or I don't know, something like that. I think Claire Nakti has a good video on that somewhere, like analyzing your dreams or astral travel, something like that. But you're really good at it. And so you're just surrendering this. But at the same time, you take in information and you analyze data. That's what you do. And so if you heard from this person, I would also tell them that you're about to be analyzing every part to that, not in like a weird obsessive way, but just like you're going to pick up on like a lot of little details. You guys can really read people. I feel like you really read energy very well. But some of you guys, you are building a business, and you are very, I want to say a lot of you guys are very well read. And maybe you do like to read about philosophy, spirituality, even travel things. Maybe you follow a lot of travel Instagram accounts or something. Some of you really like to be in swimsuits. You like to be near the water. And I think some of you, like, honestly, you seem to be just like beautiful, and maybe it does like draw a lot of hatred or jealousy. But you are, I'm hearing this song from NF that's like, stay close to people you know are loyal. And so that's really what you're doing. You also want the best for this person, whereas I'm sure not a lot of people do. Like they look at this person, it seems to, this person that would be coming to this reading about you that you're like asking about. A lot of people want them for what they can bring, what they can give, to them. But you want to see this person in this King of Pentacles energy where they're stable, they're happy. And I feel like you would be very loyal, and you are also a protector. Some of you guys could be fearful avoidant, where you're very good at analyzing threats, and maybe it has come from this place of being really unsure. Like, I keep going back to this mother situation. I'm so sorry if it's not resonating, but like, some of you guys, like, you really did love this person, this mom that you have, or this caregiver, whatever it was, because with fearful avoidance, it can be like that, where it's like, you don't really get fulfilled in your connections. You learn to be hyper independent, but you also learn to read people. Because I feel like maybe there was some enmeshment with this person where you had to learn to read their emotions, because you didn't ever know if you were going to have to run some kind of emotional triage, or if you need to make yourself scarce, in order to protect yourself. But you kind of helped this person manage their stay even keel in a way, using their emotions or things. I'm really getting, Rapunzel, like the new Rapunzel with the mom who like keeps her in the tower and brushes her hair in order to stay young. And like, I don't know, there's something like that. Only take it if it resonates. But yeah, this person around you, maybe, and I think this is a pattern. You see this person around you a lot. These people that are around both you and this person seem to want people for what they can get out of them. And what people can get out of you is some kind of inspiration, or some kind of like, they try to copy your identity or makeup, even clothes. Like, I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like it. Nope. Yeah, so I feel like you're a really interesting person, and that's why you tuck your energy away and you're just fine. You might honestly be a person where it's like, you're just fine if people don't fully understand you, because it makes you feel a little safe. You're camouflaged in some way. And in a way, I feel like you camouflage yourself, right? And like, you kind of see who can see you or who cares to. It's like, just even the process of someone exploring you. Like, are they dismissive? Do they not really care? Do they buy into, even astrology, you guys, it's like, that you're meeting somebody's rising sign, and then you're meeting their sun sign, and then humans have layers, Humans are like ogres who are like onions. We all have layers. And that's just like a basic social intelligence thing. And so, it's almost like you watch people and the way that they interact with your energy, and you can tell a lot about them. And I feel like you're really adept and you're really good at this. And so I would let this person know that you're doing that. With them. This person wants to figure you out, though. They really do. Like, this person also watches you. Maybe you don't know that, because I feel like you are like determined to surrender. Her eyes are closed. Everyone's eyes are closed. But I'm hearing the song Wide Awake by Katy Perry. Not sure why. But yeah, like, I feel like this person's wide awake to your energy. They watch you, especially if you do anything spiritual or creative, if you have some kind of social media platform, or this person, if they have access to like your Insta or your Facebook, whatever it is, like, this person is watching you, and they're watching you because they're trying to figure you out. But I got to tell you guys, they're not doing that great of a job, because this person's too logical, and they don't have the same kind of social emotional intelligence that you have. So I feel like they miss stuff. And I think you know this. I also think you're used to people misunderstanding your energy in some way, but it bothers you with this person because, my gosh, like, this person, in astrology, they say the eyes are solar. So that's why it's part of, I think I got this from Claire Nakti, but I love her. You guys should totally watch her channel. But anyways, they say the eyes are solar. That's part of the father. That's part of their protection that they offer for their children, is teaching them how to behave in a social situation. Because if they start acting a fool, all of a sudden you have all these eyes on the child, solar, penetrating, sending negative energy to that child. Oh, why aren't they acting right? Why are they being so loud? Why are they, whatever it is. And so that's why that disciplinarian, like, social guidance, back porch wisdom kind of a function is there in that paternal roles, because it's considered as like part of protection. Well, this person and their solar gaze towards you, I don't like it. I don't. They're trying to figure you out. Okay, it's because they want to know how to get your attention. This person can have a manipulative streak that's not really feeling all that comfortable to me right now. Just telling you. I'm just telling you so that you can have your guard up a little bit. They don't think that you're looking at them. They also think they have more to offer you than other people. So you're both watching each other. Pile number one, you are. This person's intrigued by your energy because it's almost like, why doesn't this person behave like these other people around me? Yeah. They think you're really smart here too with something. But they want to show you that they're like, I think they want to show you they're smarter than you. Like, I almost said like they're just as smart, but I don't think it's about that with this person. They might want to mentor you in some way, which to me, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. They might want to, I don't know. Why am I hearing Pisces as porous? I'm hearing Pisces as porous right now. So I think that could be like, even, okay, I don't think that it's at the same thing that you are doing, like this person, what they would want to offer you or something. But it's like they want to, I don't know, there's like where you're vulnerable, even if it's like tech or something. Like, hey, I was able to hack into your accounts. And you're like, why were you doing that? And they were like, I just want to make sure that you were protected. And you're like, well, don't. It's like that. Like, why, like, I don't know, or this person thinking about things like that, how can they be of service to you? Because this person is used to getting some kind of recognition or attention for being of service. Like, it's a thing they do. Let me just see what their intentions are, because I don't know. This is like, I'm feeling a type of way now. I wasn't at the beginning, so only take it if it resonates, but you guys know I have a Critica Sun, and I get very defensive and protective. It doesn't even take much to trigger it. I'm just like, hold on. Do we need to fight someone? What is this person's intentions? Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm hearing this song. Girl, just let me love you. Let me be the one to give you everything you want and need. That good love and protection. Make me a selection. Okay, I don't know what any of the rest of the words of that song. Oh man. Oh yeah, I don't know. Somebody probably knows. Look, they want to be your emperor. They do. And look, Virgo. What's interesting is Virgo and Aries are connected through light grids via ascension. Like, it's called ascension. It's in astrology, it's very similar energy, and I'm definitely getting that. This person also could be a Virgo rising, like have Virgo in the first house, Mercury in the first house. Yeah. They want a new beginning with you. They want to start over, and they want to be, but look how strategic this person is. And for some of you guys, I don't think it's a bad thing, but for some of you, it is a bad thing. And I'm just, because I also saw the Knight of Wands, which was player energy, but I don't know. It does look like this person wants to be stable for you, but sometimes what people want, what they can actually deliver, they're two different things. But I guess we'll have to say that for another reading, because I'm just getting mixed energy here. So yeah, that's what I would say. You're an enigma. You are an enigma, pile number one. And also, I would say if some of you work with cameras or art, like you put your art out there, and who you are in that arena is not who you actually are. You're very I think you might like to take care of your partner too. Like, you like to provide some kind of service. I don't know, maybe words of affirmation, touch, physical touch, time, acts of service. Those kind. I think I named like most of the love languages. But definitely acts of service, or you like that. There's something here about acts of service, but you're definitely not the same. And you know what you're doing as well too. I feel like people don't give you enough credit for like being strategic and knowing what you're doing, because maybe you look like little Susie cream cheese like on the face of you, but you're actually, I wouldn't want to mess with you. Well, actually, I wouldn't mind messing with you because you are not like, you're not rude. You're not rude, or you're not mean for no reason. Anyways, that's what I'm getting for you guys. Pile number one. If that resonated, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Okay, wait, actually one more thing. I would tell them that you have love for them. You do, with the Queen of Cups. And you're mature in love. You are. You have a lot of like just self-knowledge, self-awareness. And you really do want to like nurture something. Yeah. With them anyways. But you're surrendering this. And yeah, and you're reflecting. You're surrendering this and you are reflecting on what this means for you. If there's some kind of spiritual connection here between the two of you, something like that, you're surrendering to the mystery. And I feel like some of you guys, you're no stranger to having your sun removed. Some of you, maybe you are really going through a hard time, but it might not look like it on the surface of things, but you really are. But the thing is, you are, this ghost pipe, it has learned to live without the sun. And I feel like you have that mechanism that really can kick in for you. So you can go underground for a while. You guys can. You're totally fine there. Anyways, okay, that's what I have for you guys, pile number 1. If it resonated, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye. All right, pile number 2. This is very interesting. Okay, what would a reader say about you? But before we get started, this is a really interesting pile, and I just want to remind you that the energies in tarot can always be flipped. So I know I'm meant to be describing how a reader would describe you, but maybe I'll end up describing your person, like how a reader would describe your person. So just take it however it's resonating. And if I'm describing your person, maybe you do want to try another pile to see if that fits more your perspective. And the other thing is, there's a lot of like unique rebellious energy that's coming through this pile. And I feel like this situation, I know I'm not offering personals right now, but this would be a situation where I could read these cards with a lot more clarity for you in a personal reading, because I could read them more fitted to like your own context. But I'm just going to throw out the whatever I'm getting here and just take what resonates, like as per usual. I guess everything's really as per usual. I just want to remind you. So okay, this is a really interesting pile. So what would a reader say about you? Well, the strongest message that is coming through here in this pile is that you are very much holding yourself back in regard to this person and like moving towards this person, even though there is a strong level of attraction, you know, very magnetic attraction, sudden attraction, physical attraction here with this person. You're holding yourself back. And for some of you guys, it's really nothing more than maybe you're not available. You're already committed elsewhere. You could have a family, you could have a child, and those family values are very much important to you. You have a strong need for tradition and stability, and you don't want to bring upon hurt to anybody. You don't want to bring on a tower moment unnecessarily. And so you feel like there's just no way to win in this situation. So you're trying to kind of cut this off. You want to close the chapter between the two of you. And for some of you guys, you could interact with this person in a professional capacity here as well. This definitely looks like someone who is like a consultant of some kind, who gives some kind of very high level advice, very valuable advice that's like comes from a very educated place. Some of you could have very strong levels of education. And again, if you're resonating with this first scenario, then I feel like you, well, actually, regardless of your scenario, it looks like you are very much the one who wants to take the lead in the situation, set the tone, hold the container. And if there's a professional element here, it's like you're abiding by some kind of professional code of conduct. And it's because you, like you want to keep things really innocent, like here between the two of you. And not really lead with your heart here in this situation. Okay, but for others of you, it does get a little bit more nuanced than this. And again, just take this as it resonates. Now, you still have, like for some of you guys, you still have this need, right? And actually, this might be a problem that you've noticed here in your relationships, and you're actually bringing, I feel like, quite a bit of self-awareness to your connection with this person. And so it's like you still could be very stable, very committed. Some of you guys, there really is a child involved, even if it is like your inner child, but I feel like you still have, like you have competing needs, and I feel like this happens within you and then it plays out in your relationships, and you kind of have become aware that this is a cycle, and so you're changing the way that you're relating to your romantic relationships. And what I mean by that is that part of you has a need for traditionality, for predictability, for closeness in a relationship with your partner, for something that looks like very stable and very predictable. Now, I feel like you could also have a competing need for distance, for novelty, for a variety of partners, for adventure. And like those two needs are competing with each other and then plays out in your relationships. So you could be drawn to relationships where somebody suddenly leaves. The relationship suddenly comes to an end. If you fight, maybe you're fighting over issues of distance and closeness, and it's not always you who is the one asking for distance, because sometimes this energy can get projected out, and And just the way that it's expressing itself is different depending on who you're with and how the energies are expressing themselves. So I feel like some of you guys, it's very much that. And this side to you that's maybe, because you're coming off as the emperor, which is very traditional, very straight-laced. This is a part of you that's very real, you know? It's just not all there is for some of you. And I feel like some of you could go to lengths, you know, to curate this more rebellious, non-conforming side to yourself, or just like curate this side because you are afraid of how society would, or people, or this person in particular would react if they knew whatever this is about you. Because some of you guys are afraid of being branded, being labeled something. And maybe this comes from a very real event that happened here in your past. Because some of you guys, you had a moment where you felt very much rejected. And I feel like you can be very sensitive to rejection. Like even though you seem, not just seem, I hate the way that I'm describing your duality here, pile number 2. Please forgive me. Because I'm not a person who believes that if someone has a dual energy, because it's more than just Gemini, you guys. There's 4 dual signs and you've got 3 Mercury ruled nakshatras. It's everywhere. It's all around us. People are multifaceted, and it doesn't mean that part of themselves is not a lie. Even if you can't really reconcile those 2 different sides to that person, it doesn't mean that they're telling a lie, you know? So you have this side to you that is very strong, very grounded. But you could have had this like moment where you were in a partnership with someone that you did love very much, and you tried to open up and express that you have this need for novelty, variety, space, adventure. You can't be around them all the time. You tried to open up and express this need that you had to this person, and maybe they left suddenly, or they rejected you. And maybe you spent some time really trying to like reflect on like, oh my gosh, is what they said true? Like, am I unlovable? Am I a weirdo? Am I a freak flag? Uranus is the freak flag, you know? Why can't I be just like everyone else? Does this make me a bad person? And I'm just kind of thinking like back in the day, well, actually, maybe not even so much back in the day, where like LGBTQ people, they weren't really allowed to like adopt children and stuff, because people would be like, oh, that person's gay or they're lesbian. That means they're going to hurt children. When in reality, can those 2 things coexist simultaneously in the same human being? Yes. But just because you're one doesn't mean you're the other, you know? And so it's just a way of like keeping people who are different, who are boundary pushers, who are not conforming to something down, and labeling them with something that's not true. And some of you guys are very much concerned with that, because maybe you are a parent, or maybe this is like you're just your own inner child here, or like you want to be like this person has a child or something, or I don't know. But you don't want to be like branded something that you're not. And I feel like you know that you're not this, but you don't always trust people to be like reasonable with you, or to treat you like, to see this like through some kind of compassionate eye. So I feel like that's something that's really weighing here on the situation as well too. So I feel like some of you guys could be watching this person online here as well, or like as a part of a group of people, and maybe you're seeing them express themselves in a really creative way, or with Venus, this could be how they're making their own money. And you find it to be very beautiful. And I think there is something about this person that's very classically or like traditionally beautiful. But at the same time, there's something just so rad and so interesting about them. Okay. And by the way, you really like what you see. And for some of you guys, you know, you see this person and you really like what you see and you do something about it. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm allowed to say on YouTube still to this day. But like, that's all. Use your imagination. Okay, so another thing that I'd point out, because you guys are coming off, like, again, very stable, very traditional. I hate the way I'm describing you guys. Please forgive me. Anyways, and maybe this person, because you're not moving towards them, even though, like, they feel this strong, like, attraction, they might feel rejected by you, and I don't feel like you want them to. But I would just say, like, I do think there's something taboo about this relationship, but you like that. Some of you guys, like, you have this very rebellious side, and for some of you, it is more integrated than others. And I want to say, especially if you are male or if you are more masculine, that maybe you actually project this more rebellious state out onto your partners. There is a like pretty famous, I guess, well-known phrase in astrology that says like males or more masculine energy will tend to project their Venus outward onto their partners because of societal messaging and things. They don't necessarily feel so comfortable expressing that side of themselves. Whereas women, And this can be a little tougher for women because Mars is a malefic. It's not great. It's not a great situation. But they might not, women or more feminine energy, they might not feel so comfortable channeling their Mars directly. So they can tend to, especially when they're young, for both of these people, project their Mars out onto their partner. And that's kind of the way that you seek to express these things. So again, some of you guys, like this more rebellious nature to you is more integrated. And I feel like it's probably more integrated if you're more feminine, if you lean more feminine in some kind of way. But the reason I say that is because I feel like there's something about this person that ticks that box for you. You like to make a splash with your partner. You really do. You like to rebel through your partnerships. And that could be on a societal level where maybe you go after someone who does really stand out against societal norms. Maybe they are like covered in tattoos. They have a really interesting haircut. It's dyed pink. They have a lip piercing, whereas you are the inheritor of a vitamin company that's distributed through a library. Your whole family wears beige, and like you're never allowed to express yourself that way ever, like it would just be not like allowed. Or even like, LGBTQ or something like that, where there's a little bit of a splash. Or maybe the two of you are different races, or you are different religions from each other. So when you go out and you're Christian and you're just there, and your partner maybe is Muslim and they're wearing their hijab, like you can tell the difference between the two of you. And it's like it stands out. You like that energy here in your partner. Makes you feel alive, and you like people who are interesting. And so maybe your person doesn't really know that about you, because maybe they think you want someone more like you, someone more your age, your socioeconomic status, same culture, same religion, whatever. And so maybe they would be taking this a little bit personally, but I would like try to tell them that in the reading, that you're very much drawn to different people. And this could happen on a more nuclear scale, because some of you guys could come from families that had very strong opinions about how you express yourself, who you're allowed to date, what you're allowed to do for a career. And so whatever those like weird little pinpointed things were, you like to like shock those people, make some kind of a splash, in whatever that is. And maybe you can be a little bit impulsive around who you like, this is very sudden, like tower moment kind of energy, where it's like, it's very intense. So yeah, it's like a plus, because I think there's something about this. And I want to say that it's age, because I keep hearing the song Goodies by Sierra. And there's a rapper in it, and I'm pretty sure it's Petey Pablo, but don't quote me on that. But they're like going back and forth. But he's like, so damn hot, but so young, and she's saying, you may look at me and think that I'm just a young girl, but I'm not just a young girl. And then there's another part in it where he like is explaining to her like, oh, you think you're so bad? Like, I'm bad. You better be lucky that I'm restraining myself, because I can mess somebody up. And you have the energy here where you kind of mess somebody up, pal number 2. Like, you're very strategic, you're very intelligent, you're very smart. And I feel like you don't really have a problem messing somebody up who wants to go toe to toe with you. You're not like a bully. And also this person really does have this like innocence and purity to their spirit. I just think you think it's cute. You get a kick out of it, and you feel protective over this person. And I'm just like, I'm getting this energy of this person where they're kind of standing there like with their arms crossed, and they're like, yeah, see, nobody messes with me. But you're like behind them, and really nobody's messing with you, but you like that. And they might not even realize the extent that you kind of go to bat for this person and make it known that they're to be left alone. At least as far as you're concerned. But at the same time, it's like, there's this really cute energy here of like the large or the small overtaking the large. Like, this person really has won over your heart in some way. And you find them to be very sweet, very pleasant, very attractive, very magnetic. You both share this like humanitarian healer vibe. And I just think you like this person. So some of you guys, you could even be strategizing on how you can speak with this person again. But some of you, there's conflicting energy here. Maybe I'll try to clarify this. So I feel like it's different for a lot of you. Some of you, it's like, if I ever was going to try to be traditional with someone and settle down with somebody, I would want it to be this person. But I don't want to hurt this person, because I know that I can be impulsive. I know that I have this strong need to have different partners, or, and I want to express myself in that way. So there's just something about this person that makes you feel really sweet. Okay, but I feel like, again, you could be, this person has a very interesting energy. And I feel like, again, you're so drawn to it, because the sweet side of this person isn't the whole story, especially with Sekhmet here, because this She is like, look at her. She's so sweet and tiny looking, but she's also very fierce. She goes into this berserker state and she can really clear a field. You know what I mean? And she can like go beast mode. So I feel like there's that unpredictability that you really do like in your relationships. Some people think you want to like settle down with somebody just like predictable, but you really don't. You like a little zing. You like a little zest. And this person brings that. I really don't think it's in a violent way. Like maybe this person has suddenly left or they've suddenly severed your connection here, but they have a strength of spirit to them where they are very fiercely independent. Sexy, independent, gotta spend it type, right? There it is again. That's Sierra Goody's song. Let me just clarify some stuff that I'm getting here. So basically, what would a reader say about you? That you're holding yourself back, even though there's a strong connection. I would say that you are most likely watching this person. And I also think you like someone, even though you like someone who's a bit like nonconformist and they make a splash, you still like someone who's very likable. And you find this person to be very likable. Maybe they're doing something online. I don't know. You find this person to be different and likable. Maybe they make their money in a really unique way. Yeah, so you are the one, you are kind of taking the lead energetically. You feel very protective towards this person. You're holding yourself back. You might find this person amusing and like really sweet. You might see this person's vulnerabilities more than they do, you know? Some of you guys could fear like being ostracized from like, because some of you, like I said, you're a consultant, people come to you for advice and you wouldn't want to like have a tower moment around your reputation or something. If, I don't know if it like came out about you and this person. Okay, so why is the world here? You guys are really trying to be good. You're trying to be fair, and you feel like in some way you're the bigger energy here, and that more of the responsibility, more of the impetus lies on you to set a good tone, set a good container. I don't know. There's something about this person's energy, you guys. It's so cute. It's just so adorable. I feel like they can be kind of petulant. Like very insistent that they're like on your level and you're like, honey, you're really not. Like, it's so adorable. Don't get me wrong. Like, you're so cute. but just you're not. And I really do need to like hold myself back. I could eat you for breakfast. Yeah. So you're really just trying to you're trying to be responsible. You're trying to like let this go. You do want there to be some kind of obstacles in between you. This person's a force though, man. They have a dual nature to them that you really do like. And I don't feel that you feel, honestly, you do feel scared and threatened by part of their nature because you know they're so intense and that they can be very impulsive. Again, I think you like that. But it's not like malicious. I don't think you feel that this person, yeah, they're not malicious. They could just cut people out. You love this person. You love this person, but like in like a really, I don't know, I just think you think they're so funny and so cute. Yeah, you want to heal things with this person. They are your wish. Maybe you're like, you know, sometime in the future, maybe we can come together. I just ask what it is that you're waiting for with the Ten of Pentacles. I mean, it's like, maybe you feel like you can't. I don't know. This is again the same energy of just being very stable, very family conscious, very family oriented. It would have to come to an end, I feel like, in one way or another. And I don't think you're wishing that, you know? So, well, what do you want to happen with this person? You might want to help teach them and guide them in some way with their energy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think you're just going underground with this. And you're fine to do it. You're like, you know what? You feel a strong connection to this person. This honestly turned into a really cute reading. And I do just want to say, some of you guys, I feel like there's some things in your past that you've done and you're like, I'm like, if this person ever found out, if people ever found out. I just want to say though, I mean, this is a general reading. I do not feel like you are a bad person, pile number 2. I'm not just blowing smoke either. Like, you know, when you work with kids, they really make a distinction of like the behavior and the child and the person, you know. Maybe you have done some things that you're not proud of that you are, because you have like a very impulsive nature. Maybe you do have strong Aries in your chart, strong horse yoni energy, so Aquarius or Aries. And maybe you have been very impulsive in the past. You weren't really thinking things through, but you have this high need for novelty, adventure, shock value, even just for your own system to make you feel alive. And it could have very much led you down a road of manipulation or just kind of pushing boundaries. But I do feel like you're maturing. You're looking at that a little bit differently now. And I think maybe you've done some bad things that you're not proud of, but I don't think you're a bad person. And there's a difference. And that's just what I want to say. Because some people, you've gotten the messaging from somewhere that you are just bad for being different and for having different needs and for being honest about them. That's what I hate. It's like you have the decency to try to communicate that, you know, and it's not for everybody. And I don't know why I'm taking this very personally on your behalf. I just want you to know that there's a place for you and that sometimes people suck. So, yeah, that's what a reader would say about you, is that there's a strong connection here. Some of you guys, Uranus is I can't remember if I said this because I've thought it several times, but Uranus is the enlightener, and having it come out next to Venus, it's like you realize that this person could be a strong soulmate of yours, a counterpart energy of yours. But maybe you're looking at this person like, yeah, soul family, soul pod. Oh boy. Yes. And you're not sure how to ground that connection into the material world because part of you is so defensive. Oh, I just asked how you think this person's seeing you. And we got the 5 of Cups of like grief, guilt, some kind of past connection. You got 5s here, you know, which is just guilt and sorrow. So this has been a very interesting reading. I'm noticing that I'm like, I just want to keep prying because there's just such interesting energy here. So maybe you want to check out Thais Gibson. I love her channel. It's Thais. She does so much about the attachment style, especially if you resonate with being anxious attachment. And like if you sign up for her website, then you can take the quiz for free. And yeah, she sends you like emails, but it's totally worth it. She's just great. But yeah, I feel like that's all I have for you guys, pile number 2. So if that resonated, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye guys. Okay, pile number 3. What would a reader say about you? Okay, so by the way, whenever I do readings, if you're new to this channel, I believe heavily in nuance as truth. One of my favorite quotes is, tyranny is the deliberate removal of nuance. I believe in order to fully understand anything, you've got to put it in context. And I feel like that is definitely coming through in this reading, where there's certain nuanced things about both of you, both of your characters, that are subtly but pretty significantly impacting this dynamic and this connection between the two of you. Okay, so bear with me as I try to kind of piece this together, because I'm actually not sure that I'm all the way there yet. It's clear to me that both of you have feelings for each other with the Queen of Cups, but you're kind of keeping a lid on it here. And I feel like this person that you are asking about, but they would be coming to the reading about you, they moved away from, I feel like it's not just from you, it looks like from a place. So that's what I mean, okay? Because you are coming through here as somebody really stable and probably honestly really successful. And I'm not sure how you define success for yourself. Although when I said that, I was looking very deeply in her eyes, and she looks very, very sad. So maybe some of you guys, that's another central theme of this dynamic in this relationship. And it's maybe more of like a soul focus that comes from like your interactions with this person, because you're seeing this person as successful, but in a different way than you. And honestly, I feel like you're successful on a lot of different fronts, but this looks to be like long-term success. It's not something that just has sprung up overnight. You don't look like a person that really believes in taking shortcuts for most things. And honestly, maybe you have had a lot of pressures put on you in this regard to be successful in a very traditional sense. So for some of you guys, this person seems to be really interesting, really independent, really unique, and they have been successful in some way in your mind in doing that. And I feel like it could be bringing things up for you. So anyways, that's like a side thing. So what I would say about you is that you are a very stable, strong, and successful person. And you look like a person who has long-term goals, and you move very consistently and steadily to meet those goals, which has built up a lot of grit and a lot of tenacity, a lot of responsibility, a lot of reliability within you. And because of that, Taurus is the energy of the Garden of Eden, and it's coming out right next to this Gaia card. So I want to say, because of that, this Garden of Eden kind of environment has sprung up around you. And I feel like you are kind of you are the spring that feeds that whole garden, or you're the backbone of maybe a family, business, a community, but you have a lot of responsibilities here, and you're really good at it. Honestly, I feel like over time, and you guys could be at a different place in your journey, but I feel like this is where you're headed if you haven't really gotten there yet. I feel like you're honestly really good at this. Some of you guys could be life path 4s, where a big part of your soul mission and you fulfilling your dharma and your karma, especially towards other people, is for you to be this very stable foundation for a lot of people. Everything, think about Maslow's pyramid. It is that foundation that allows for progression through those deficiency needs up to eventually self-actualizing. So it's really, really important to have people who are just honestly brute strong, who don't take shortcuts, who are just there, I've talked a lot about on this channel with this earth energy. A lot of earth energy can get overlooked, especially in spirituality, but a lot of spiritual adepts are born under the banner of earth. Buddha was born under Taurus. Jesus was born under Capricorn. And it's because you've probably had a lot of past lives where you learned a lot of spiritual things. And the challenge is to then synthesize that down into the very dense realm of matter without confusing the two. Right? Taurus, Buddha left a palace. Jesus was born in a barn and spent 70% of the Bible on a donkey. You know what I'm saying? They weren't arrogant. They weren't confounded in materialism. And maybe that's something this person misunderstands about your energy, because I feel like you could be someone who's very traditionally successful. You look like you are in full bloom. You're reaping some kind of long-term harvest, which is super stable and super abundant. Taurus does rule over luxuries. You could live in a really nice house. With Capricorn here, there could be something that's about your career that you are visible. You could have some kind of status or recognition that's associated with you, with your career. But I feel like this was all very much a long time coming. And if you're not there yet, the promise here is in the cards. You're building up really good habits, and you are going to get there. And all of this has impacted your personality, right? Because you always, you allow things to grow and unfold as they so need, and you also know your worth and you know your value. And so I feel like another thing here is people come to you, right? You're both, I feel seeing each other in the Six of Pentacles energy, which I know people read this card as equal give and take. That is not at all what this card looks like to me. And I don't even think this is bad. The Six of Pentacles is, to me, giving from a place of superiority, giving from a place of your overflow, whether that superiority is in knowledge, skill, material resource, whatever it is. And there's times when this is really good and absolutely appropriate. And I feel like you understand that very well. You look like you could operate in some kind of professional capacity with a lot of people. And maybe this person does too, albeit it looks to be in a different kind of a way or different kind of circumstance. But that's what I mean, is I feel like you both see each other as the givers, as usually you're the ones giving to the people around you, and maybe a lot of people come to you both for things. So maybe there are businesses that are involved here. So I feel like that is kind of inhibiting this relationship, because with the Queen of Cups here, I feel like you have a lot of feelings for each other, and you might not know that about this person, because what I would say and explain to them, besides trying to just explain your overall situation, your overall nature, who you are, and the very long process that has gone into you developing the kind of strength, abundance, and nurturance that you seem to have within you, is that you don't feel really seen or appreciated by this person. And there is something about what you do that's tied into your love language, or it's tied into your self-esteem, if that makes sense. You giving to people maybe in a material way. And I feel like a lot of you guys, like, you have a knack for this. You are nurturers by your very nature. And you do have like a very solid knack for being able to see what people need and then to be able to give and provide that for those people. And it's like how you do show your love for people. And it's like when people receive that, or when people acknowledge like the value added, like I keep hearing value added that you bring to their life, like it's something that makes you feel seen and it makes you feel loved. And I feel like that is kind of the situation with a lot of people around you. But for some reason, it's like not with this person. And I think it is because they left. You know, the Eight of Cups is all about leaving a situation that's actually pretty good. And with this being the Eight of Cups, it makes me think that this person left, you know, and this showing up so heavily as the Garden of Eden, because that's like a place, right? And it looks like you're the steward of this place in some way. Maybe this is metaphorical, but it's like this person left or walked away from this. And I feel like there could have been multiple people involved, but like, just like with the Garden of Eden, like why would anyone ever leave the Garden of Eden? You know, there's everything that you could want there with abundance, but that is like the crux point of myth. And so you both are very spiritual people. And I want to say that because Capricorn is the bridge from the divine to mankind. Like, and it is the height of, like a lot of people say that, like without little tiny nuances, most people can experience enlightenment in the realm of Capricorn. It's a highly, highly intuitive sign, and people don't usually see this. So whatever you do in the material world, I feel like it is fulfilling your soul mission. A lot of you guys, your soul purpose is Artha. You know, it is like fire and water are really heavily associated with spirituality, and this person showing up heavy fire. So maybe you don't feel like this person sees the spiritual nature in whatever it is that you're doing, especially because you seem to have so many material trappings around, and like that's not the focus for you. I feel like it really isn't. It's a bonus. It's a plus, you know, especially because maybe some things that you do can be very much like monotonous. But necessary, and maybe you do get a little bit bored, and maybe that's also why you like this person, is because they brought a little spice, a little joie de vivre, a little hey, you know. But yeah, with this Capricorn energy, I do feel like there's something very intuitive or very like divinely inspired about what it is that you're doing. Like I said, your soul could have a strong Artha focus, which is all about settling down, paying your taxes. Never cut your taxes, by the way. Never try to. Like if you have strong Artha focus in your chart, that is a part of your karmic debt that you're paying off in order to fund certain community initiatives. Again, it's like you're the base of that Maslow's pyramid to help people self-actualize, and it's thankless, steady grit work, but somebody's got to do it. But I feel like, again, like you're paying off strong karmic debts if like that's something that you resonate with doing. A lot of you guys, I feel like you give good advice, you know, or both of you do here in some way. So I feel like this person doesn't understand that like this is a big part of your love nature, and it looks like it could be something like what you do for a living, because this to me looks like a professional. And here we go. Now that we're 15 minutes into this video, I feel like I'm starting to get this. Like I said, you both like each other, and you're both doing this weird thing where you're trying to act unaffected, and you're trying to pretend like you're not looking at each other, but you totally are. Look at you guys. Because this person you think is very busy. They have a lot going on. Fire usually does. Fire is very goal-oriented. They're very, very active. They're very aware of time. They don't have a lot of time. They're just so aware of that. So for them to be achieving their goal and their mission, they've got to keep moving. They're movers and shakers, right? And that's part of what they're here to do. And it's a heavy Dharma focus on duty. And so you see that in this person, whether it's like, maybe for some of you guys, this person can be dating, like casually dating, and maybe it's super annoying because they're saying things like, where did all the good people go? And you're like, hello. Hi, I'm just here with everything you could ever want, everything you could ever need. No big deal. But it doesn't have to be people. Honestly, you guys are looking, this is a pile where one of you or both of you could be already committed, but it doesn't have to be to a person, because you're just looking like somebody who has a lot of responsibilities. Honestly, both of you, like in the material world, you're just busy people. And so with this person, I feel like it could be projects too, or projects, studies, things that they're doing. You just see that this person's like always busy, and I feel like it hurts you. And that's what I would try to explain, is like there's something that's getting lost in translation here, where it does hurt you that this person doesn't pay attention to you, or they seem to be spreading their attention out with other people, and they don't seem to like acknowledge the worth that you bring to the table. Now, I feel like this could also be a little bit of a hurt locker situation. And that is a term that I got from Shallon Lester. I know that she's had some controversy lately, and I'm not trying to comment on that, but you know that your girl is Sun Saturn dominant, and I very heavily believe in being transparent about where I get my information and like not trying to take credit for it. So the reason I say that this could be a hurt locker situation, what a hurt locker is, it's like it's somebody who comes along and they very naturally and in some way very successfully embody or display certain traits that you actually do have within yourself and that you value, but maybe you've stuffed them down because you weren't encouraged to develop those traits, you know, or you were told that they were bad or something, but they are very much inside of you. So a lot of times there can be a very strong draw to a hurt locker, not because, and it can be very like sexual, you know, because your subconscious is seeking to integrate those traits and that energy into your conscious mind, right? Into a conscious part of you. And I feel like you could be seeing this with this person because they are very fiery with the Queen of Wands. This is a person who could be very dynamic, you know, like kind of like a Captain Kirk, shoot from the hip kind of energy. They could be very charismatic. They could be very individual. And actually, individuation and somebody's individuality, I feel like is a central theme here. I just heard sand within the oyster because Taurus into Gemini, that link, it's is a nakshatra called Mrgashira, and it is the birthplace of Mars, right? And I asked earlier, like, well, why would anyone ever leave the Garden of Eden? Except that's what the journey around the zodiac is all about. It's leaving the Garden of Eden. Because in the garden, yes, everything is taken care of, but there's like this undercurrent, right? There's this Jehovah God-like figure that is a creator. And so you do kind of have to sacrifice your own free will, your own individuality at times in order to be able to stay, right? He has a power to kick them out. So we leave the garden with the development of Mars, which is self. It is our own free will. It really is the will. It's our own drive. And because we exit the Garden of Eden, then we start on the path, the trials, the tribulations, to ourselves become a creator and build our own Garden of Eden, which you have done. And that the Garden of Eden thing, it's actually really beautiful. It's a beautiful energy. You take care of people who really do need it. And I feel like a lot of people stay here. Like, and that again, it feels like you're fulfilling soul contracts and things like this. But other people, like this person, maybe they just pit stop in for a while. And there's like, again, it's like, I feel like you could be taking that very, very personally because what you're providing here is so beautiful and it's so nourishing that people don't usually leave. So maybe you're super involved in whatever this is. Like you're super tied up with whatever it is that you're doing. Mars, by the way, rules over sex. And I feel like you are very, like the Queen of Wands is someone who is very sexually charismatic and just kind of naturally emits it and it draws people into their energy. And I feel like you see other people being drawn into this person's energy. You yourself are drawn into this person's energy, but you are very dignified. You know, you bring a lot more to the table and I feel like you don't compete. So then this person, I feel like is kind of maybe not synthesizing this in the same way. Also, you have male-female dynamics that could be interacting here. Women are used to having men like very much throw their hat in the ring, you know? And so I don't know which one of you is which or if there's certain societal expectations or cultural things that are going on. But it seems like all these messages are just getting confused, but at the heart of it, you both really, really love each other. So I feel like what you see in this person is them getting loved for their individuality though and their independence. And I think that's why you love them here as well too. You're hoping this person comes back to you. And I feel like you're sitting there very strong, very proud, very dignified. You're fulfilling your soul mission because you are strong and stable and nothing is going to shake you from doing that. With this Emperor energy here, and you're also kind of protecting yourself in your own energy, like for some kind of rejection. But I don't feel like this person does want to reject you. This person is very focused on you, even though they look very busy. This person, it's like you guys are always trying to hear what each other is up to. This person feels the same way about you. There's just other factors that are getting in the way. And what I want to say, I'm about to take this super deep, right? And I hope that that this is okay. But with you, there's something here, right? Okay, they say never look a gift horse in the mouth. And this energy that you have is so big and it is so beautiful and it's doing so much good in the world that probably people don't look this gift horse in the mouth, right? And I just for a second want to try to peel back some layers of the onion just for your own, because you're fulfilling your soul mission to other people, but for your own self and for your own individuality and your own growth. Let's just pop the hood for a second and ask, like, Why? Because I feel like, yes, this is your love language. Your self-esteem seems to be wrapped up in this in some way. And I'm wondering, because this Taurus is ruled by Venus, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Venus-Saturn dynamics, like in a person's chart, maybe some of you have your Saturn contacting your Venus. Saturn's the energy of restriction. So whatever it touches, it restricts. So it's going to restrict that Venus energy, which is self-expression, individuality, the kind of energy that you're seeing this person thrive in. And a lot of times if someone has that in their chart, then it comes from an early home environment where maybe the love was restricted, or a parent or caregiver's time was really restricted. And so you being an individual, you expressing that juicy individuality that, if we lived in a natural kind of society, that would just be enough. But like in our modern society where people have to work and stuff, if you were just being an individual, like, it was just another Tuesday night for mom and dad. They had to work. They maybe couldn't look up from whatever it is that they were doing. They had to travel, and so it was like, all right. But what you could have learned is this value added thing. Well, I get acknowledgement and I get attention and I get love when I achieve, when I have some kind of accomplishment, when I bring some kind of value to the situation. And it's not just my individuality, it's my individuality plus something super valuable. Some of you guys, this is it could have been like a love situation, like if you dated someone who was important or somebody who was successful, someone who was seen, then you all of a sudden you got some kind of love, acknowledgement, or recognition from those people. So you learned like that, you synthesize that into what love is. And so maybe when someone moves away from you while you're doing this value added thing, like it hits that pain point for you, and you're like, how can you walk away from me? But at the same time, what I feel like is going on here with this dynamic is that this person, you could be dealing with a fearful avoidant. And a fearful avoidant is someone who, like the love and reinforcement, just most dismissive energies, they had to learn to be very independent. They had to learn to meet their own needs on their own, so they can be quite fiercely independent. With a fearful avoidant, they didn't want to cut off connection altogether because there's some kind of enmeshment trauma that they had with a parent. So it was like very much overdone and they were being kind of smothered or taken advantage of in some way. But at the same time had to learn to be really independent, so they can struggle to express appreciation, because it's kind of like that thing, when a kid tells like an adult, I cringe whenever this happens. I'm like, oh, that was the kiss of death, honey. They're about to ruin that thing for you. Because if a kid tells an adult like what they like, then they can hang it over their head. They can use it as bait to try to get them to fall in line or something, And I'm not saying it's not necessary at times, but sometimes it can really be overdone, and that's the type of thing that you could be dealing with here in this person, where what makes you feel safe and what makes you feel loved are two different things. It's not that you don't love each other. It's just that you can't express it in a way that the other synthesizes as love. So your wounds are very much butting up against each other. This person, I feel like, wants to this is what I think. I think you both maybe want to receive from each other. You want to give and receive. So this is a lesson where maybe both of you do interact with a lot of people in this Six of Pentacles way, where you're the giver and that feels comfortable for you, and you both clearly have some kind of abundance that you can give up. For a lot of you, especially you, I feel like this could be in a professional capacity. And I feel like that's another thing that could be happening here. Like for a lot of, that's actually a really good example of what I'm trying to describe with this energy, because a lot of professions have a code of conduct, right? Which is Saturn. It places a restriction on the way you express yourself in a relationship. Think of a therapist. Therapists are told, you really don't want to blur the lines between friendship. You really definitely don't want to blur the lines between romance, because at the end of the day, you can really do a lot of damage. You're sending mixed signals. You don't know why you're there in that relationship, and you really can't help that person. The trust can be very much eroded very quickly. And so I feel like there could be something like that here, where there's a restriction on the way that you can express yourself in that way. And also with the value thing, right? Because think about our professionals. It's like we value and appreciate our professionals, but we appreciate them for a role that they do, a function that they do, not for their self, their individuality. It's not like you go to the dentist and you're like, Dr. Ronald, I really want to see you as a person. I want to be here for you. How are things? You're like, my mouth hurts. You know what I mean? Like, I need a cleaning. Like it can be that way. So if there's maybe I feel like there's something about this person that's got you thinking about your relationships and how you get love and whether or not it is true love. I feel like for some of you guys, it's like you want to be seen like this person is seen as an individual, at least in some of your relationships, because maybe the lines are blurred. Some of you guys, I'm just like, even just that mother wound of like, yes, I'm always providing. I'm always the one giving, you know? So what happens if you stop? If people who are around you, they're not associated with luxuries, they're not associated with status. What if you stopped giving those things? Would they still love you the same, or would they leave? And does that bring up a fear? This person, I feel like, did leave in some capacity. Or maybe they didn't take your advice, or whatever this is. Like, this person showed a lot of independence, which actually, especially for this fire energy, I feel like is a very healthy expression spiritually for this person. And I don't think you want to try to hold this person back at all. I just think that there's a way that the love here, there's a lot of love. There's a lot of love. And I actually feel like this is this very strong soulmate connection here between the two of you. There's a lot of love here. And it's like the way, though, that you both are, your wounds are perfectly matching up, and it's like flaring things up. This person wants more stability in their life. They want someone that they can rely on. They just haven't learned that that's safe. You know, this giving abundant energy feels so safe for so many people. But if somebody was like really gross and manipulative and controlling to you in your younger years, and they always like held stuff over your head, and it's like, well, you're going to fall in line. You're dealing with a very independent person here. That's not going to feel as comfortable. And this dynamic could definitely activate some kind of deactivating strategy here for this person, where they deactivate the intimacy, they deactivate the closeness, sometimes abruptly. Fearful avoidance can do that. Push off just really abruptly. And you're like, I don't understand. When I give to people, it's like, here, kitty, 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 kitty. You know, like whenever I give to people, they always come into my space. They always relax into it. That's the way I give love. Then I feel good. And it's like, that's that reinforcing cycle. But with this person, it just doesn't work like that. I feel like this person can't really receive love for very long without getting a little itchy. And I'm seeing like the dad from Talladega Nights. And he's like, who wants to go get thrown out of an Applebee's? You know, this is feeling a little too chummy for me. So this person, we all have our wounds, right? And I just feel like this is a situation where your wounds are definitely bumping up against each other. So both of you, there's also something here about self-esteem where I feel like there's something very validating about your attention. And so both of you, you've learned to like hold back your attention, to give your attention, right? Like, and I feel like there's something very validating for both of you if like you get the other person's attention without being the first one, because both of you are afraid that you're going to have to bend at the knee in order to approach this other person in whatever way that means. And neither one of you need to do that because you're not in a place of lack. Neither of you. You know? There's some kind of spiritual quote that's like, altruism is all well and good. I think this was Eckhart Tolle, and he was like, spiritual people need to really ask themselves about their altruism though, because if you derive a sense of identity from that, then you're always, what's behind that is that you're always needing someone to be doing worse off than you are. And in a way, your energy celebrates that because then it gives you a purpose and it gives you some kind of sense of identity, which is why that can also be an expression of your ego identity. It can sprout up around these very altruistic things here as well too. And I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe it's something to kind of poke around. You're definitely doing a lot of good in the world. And I'm not trying to like take away from that, but maybe people don't really, maybe this is an opportunity with this person and through this reading to really ask yourself like the way that you get love. Okay, so another thing that I feel like is actually being brought up by this person and by this connection, I'm just hearing, I just wanted this one thing. I just wanted this one thing for myself. And maybe for some of you, it is a relationship with this person, but that actually makes you happy. Like maybe you always do the right thing. Maybe even in your relationship, like you have had to pick a person that looks good on paper, you know? Some of you, I feel like you were really, really crazy in love in the past with someone, whether it was this person or somebody else there in the past, and it somehow has imprinted on you or affected you. If it was with this person, it was super passionate. But I feel like for others of you, that thing that you wanted, it's not necessarily this person. It's like a project, something very creative. Like I said, like you see this person very naturally expressing their individuality and their creative energy and getting some kind of recognition for it. And I feel like it's there inside of you. And I say this all the time about the earth signs. They're more fiery than people give them credit for. The earth signs are home to the fire planets. The sun and Mars, they live in the earth signs. So you have this fire energy that's there. It's just not readily there, readily accessible. So there's something inside of you that you want to express of your own individuality. And maybe you always kicked this rock down the road. You know, you're like, because you have some kind of long-term goals that you had to achieve. And maybe you felt like you had to achieve it in order to like get love or, but then like you kept kicking down the road, and some of you like life, you have all these responsibilities around you now, and it's like it's just never the right time. But with this person, you're like, oh my gosh, they're achieving some kind of success, or they're defining success for themselves, and they're like, they look happy and dynamic, sexual. Whenever someone connects with their life purpose, it can look like this fire energy, and it's so attractive and it pulls people in. And that's what I think you're like responding to in this person. Yeah, because for some of you guys, there's something that you want to show and you want to express, something that you've done that maybe you keep a lid on. So in a way, it's almost like you want to leave your own Garden of Eden, not the one that you have made, because that's quite a feat, that's quite an accomplishment. You've become the creator and you've built your Garden of Eden. In a way, that's kind of a self-actualization process that not a lot of people get to. But I'm talking about the Garden of Eden of your parents, you know, of something here where it's like you feel like you receive a lot of abundance or a lot of nurturance, and you are afraid to like show your own independence in that garden, you know, for yourself, like this person did, and be like, actually, no, I'm gonna be a rock star, you know, or whatever it is. Like, so this person could be, and I feel like you have guides around here watching you. What are they? Yeah, wanting you to kind of like engage with this. There's like 3 little cherub angels here watching you, just kind of gazing over this cup. And I think you set this person apart because they are different. They showed a type of independence towards you that you're just not really used to. And so I think that's part of why you're having trouble synthesizing it. Because I don't think this person, for most of you, this is a general reading, I know, but for most of you, like you this person, I don't feel like is trying to slight you. But you're trying to block yourself off at the heart. You're definitely restraining yourself. You're holding yourself back. You could have blocked this person or they blocked you. But you're trying not to make a decision about this. You're at this stalemate. It's almost like you don't want to decide about it because for some of you guys, you do like dream about this person, or you could fantasize about this person. Which may or may not be comfortable for you because you have so much going on in the material world that's like pulling on your attention. For some of you guys, maybe this is like a welcome reprieve from that and it's helping you. But I feel like whenever you do dream about this person, it is about goals. It's like all the things that you could accomplish together. It's like, yeah, you guys are like equal opposite energies in some way. And you like that. You fantasize about what that would be like to have someone who stands strong on their own and doesn't rely on you for all this stuff. And so then you always have to be asking yourself the question of, do you love me, or do you love the luxuries I provide, the status? Like, would you leave if this went away? What if I was poor? What if I was a rock star and I was a starving artist? What if I just gave up everything to write poetry under a bridge? Like, you know, and those are extreme examples. And I also feel like you could fantasize about traveling with this person and maybe just like talking one-on-one under the stars, like simplicity. This person represents some kind of like simplicity where you don't, because this, you know, it's almost like in a way, because this person doesn't seem to show value for all of this stuff that you have. I do think they value it. I do. It's like this person, though, they value their independence most. And they don't want people to have control over them. And people maybe have tried to use some kind of nurturance, which is terrible. That's terrible to do to someone. But, yeah, so I feel like you almost feel like you can trust this person more. You want to be loved as an individual. Maybe you think this person can do it. But there's something about this person, because they're so busy, because they're so attractive, because they're so independent, because they are so individual. If this person loved you, it would be like very, very validating. And I think honestly, vice versa. This person would finally get a lot of nourishment, stability, foundation that they have been maybe denied in their life. This could be a perpetual mover. So there's a lot going on here in this pile. I feel like I've been talking for a day and a half. But I feel like there's something about your love languages, and honestly, maybe your attachment styles, your early childhood wounding. Also, okay, like I just keep getting more and more messages. With this Venus-Saturn dynamic, if that plays out in synastry, I feel like you would be the Saturn person. So maybe you are older than this person, or again, there's something that you feel restricts your ability to just naturally express yourself, to express your feelings, your love, your creativity in regards to this situation. And maybe you feel like, like beige or something in this person's presence. You're not, though. Like a lot of times with Venus Saturn, if you work through those things, you realize that it's like this early childhood wound, you know, and Saturn starts to alleviate around the age of 35. So maybe you'll notice some freedom here in that. But then you look at this person as the embodiment of Venus, somebody who's beautiful, dynamic, valuable, sexy, maybe forever youthful. And you're like, it sparks this like stark contrast in your mind, but you're more like this person than you're giving yourself credit for. So there's a restriction. Also, both of you guys, you're not speaking about this. There's a restriction of your throat chakra here with this person. I don't think this person's speaking to you as well. It's like both of you are trying to kind of lure each other back into each other's dens, you know? And it's just not working. And I feel like neither one of you are really being willing to budge. And it makes me think that there's other factors here that are restricting that. And one of them is the way you're synthesizing each other's behavior. Because some of you, like honestly, if we boil down this reading, you both have a lot going on in your lives. Like you really do. And I think you have people who rely on you or who come to you for things. It's probably very exhausting. It takes a lot of your energy. Some of you guys need a vacation here as well, too. It's like you just want to get your mind clear about this situation. You want to try to put this in a different context for yourself. And they say this in spirituality all the time. A lot of times our suffering is not fully or mostly even generated by just the bare bones of a situation. It's like the narrative that we lay over it and all the meanings that we infer and derive from it that may or may not honestly be true. Fearful avoidants are notorious for this, where they extrapolate a lot of meaning. So maybe this person has, but I feel like there's good feelings here at the 8 of Cups. You just feel like this person, you know, Mrgashira is a very anxious energy. This Mars energy that your person's in, when they leave the Garden of Eden, it's like a deer. I feel like everything tries to eat deer. So it's like, and maybe you see this person, but it's the star of searching. And you feel this person has had to move away from you to search. And Mrgashira Shakti power is that it gives fulfillment. So that you might be seeing this person getting some kind of fulfillment by breaking off, you know, by being very investigative around maybe spirituality, maybe their own self-expression. But they also are very much intelligent, and they're also very tender people. And I feel like you want to protect and take care of this person as an expression of your own love. And it's like they won't let you because they're trying to be independent. I'm seeing that scene in Troy where Briseis and Achilles, like he's trying to hand her that bowl of hot water with a rag and she won't let him do it. They're like fighting. And then finally he just, you know, dips the rag back into the water, and then she picks it up herself to like do it. It's that kind of dynamic here between the two of you. You're like, why will you not let me love you? Oh my gosh. So anyways, you guys are very much rooted. You're taking care of your responsibilities. You're looking really fierce, and you are fully armored and protected. Even like, you know, man's beard protects their throat. Their self-esteem, their most generous part. So I feel like you're not trying to show any weakness or vulnerability to this person. You are you're staying in your garden. You're staying firmly in your garden, and you are fulfilling your soul's mission. But I do just want to say that if you guys are trying to, like, if there's something you want to do, I feel like your guides, your guides are here in this reading, you know? They're watching you, watching this person, and somehow I think this person and a project, they're like melding in your mind, you know? And so it's almost like some of you guys have taken your desire for your own individuation, your own rebellion even, and then you've like overlaid it on this person, but it's not really the thing, you know? That's not really the what your soul is after. It's after this project. It's after your own individuation, your own independence. In one way or another, it's not that you have to walk away from this. Listen, you're talking to a Gemini. Yes, and energy. So I don't know if that helped you, but I feel like your guides are trying to get some kind of message through to you that you can be in this energy, and you can also try and be in this energy here as well too. And I feel like it's well worth it for your own. Yeah, because there's something that's trying to come through here. There's something about defining your own success and having it not be bound in money. I'm not saying that all of you guys are like super money hungry or anything. It could even be just like that's a way that you protect yourself, is like, well, actually I am successful. Not just in my own way. You can point to like these kinds of things, and it's just extra protection. And there's something where you don't want to be seen as like weird or unique or not unique. You do want to be seen as unique, but you don't want to be left out in the cold. You don't want to be maybe stuffed out of certain circles or societies or things like that. But it's like your guides are like, please take this cup. Please take this cup, you know? And it's causing a lot of anxiety, and maybe it does cause you to be alone. There's certain thought processes that have been running amok, and you stand very strong, very beautiful, very proud, very accomplished, you know? But the Hangman is all about some kind of initiation. I feel like there's something that your guides are trying to get you to like fully embrace. So anyways, I'm tired of hearing myself talk. Pile number 3. I hope that wasn't offensive. I hope that it was okay that I just like kind of suggested those things. This looks like a very deep connection. I talked for like an age, like straight through. So I feel like there's like a lot of nutrient dense lessons here between the two of you. And that's what I would explain to this person. Like at the heart of it, what I was trying to explain in this whole reading is that the both of you, because of your wounding in your childhood and the way that you have synthesized love, the way that you choose to give and receive love, both of you, I think, have chosen to be the giver in most of your relationships because it feels safer for you. But then through this relationship, it's like you both have seen someone that you want to. I'm hearing Banks. I want to lean on your shoulder. I think that's called Waiting Game by Banks. You both want to like come partake of this feast, but you don't want it to mean that you're weak. You don't want it to mean that you're needy, you know, and you don't want to be seen as someone who is like on the same level as maybe other people who are competing for this person's attention, because you do have a lot more. You're well developed. You're on, you know, you're further along in your journey, and you don't compete because it is beneath you. And you feel like if you have to compete for something, it's really not for you. You want someone who can see your worth and see your value. There's both of you have mechanisms for that around you, but it is impacting this relationship here. I would say that you both have a lot of love for each other. You both dream about each other. You think about each other, but it's like you both want that payoff. There's something about like getting the other person's attention that would be incredibly validating and make you feel both very loved, but nobody wants to take the first step. So you're stuck in this weird stalemate. Maybe it is even a bit of a power struggle, and it kicks up a lot of other emotions that are just not normally there. So it's almost like both of you, the filter that from which you're like seeing this relationship, it's not so great. So let me just see, what's the advice for pile number 3? To trust, to let go. There is something about this situation where I feel like it's trying to connect you with a deeper part of yourself, and it's using this person as an example. Like your psyche, your subconscious is like, do it like this, and it's vice versa as well too. Yeah, like stay strong. You're not doing anything wrong, but like what? Yeah, it's just wanting you to reflect on certain things, on your past, it's not wanting you to make any wide sweeping changes, I feel like. But maybe you do want one relationship or 2 relationships where you're like, you know what? You meet someone completely dressed like a hobo, like you yourself, like you dress like a hobo, like Jasmine when she goes into the town and meets Aladdin and they have a genuine connection. Like, I don't know, it's like there's certain things that aren't working for you anymore. Yeah, and it has to do with your circle. You know, this is Danishta energy, which is usually very wealthy. It can be a bit of a know-it-all energy, but they can be very wealthy and have like lots of different places around. But with the 3 of Cups, it's like there's something about the circles that you're running in. Yeah, just like, I don't know, expanding or something like that. I don't know. I feel like that part is for you to really figure out, but yeah, it's like nurturing this whole other side to you, because one side of you is super well developed, and there's something that this person's touching on that's like still a little kid, you know, and feels neglected, or it feels like overlooked. Anyways, I'm gonna stop talking because I'm driving myself crazy. But anyways, I hope that resonated with you guys. Pile number 3. If it did, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye, guys.